UBS answered its critics, would you say?
UBS was all about its capital and about its dividend-paying potential. In fact, analysts got so wound up about the capital position, they forgot the beneficial earnings impact of management's other part of their restructuring, and most pertinently the cost savings. And that's what we're seeing, not just at UBS, but actually across the whole investment banking space. A little bit of revenue growth, but some reasonable cost cutting, double-digit operating profit increases, and that's triggering positive earnings surprises.
Are the shares fairly priced right now?
The thing about UBS is that it had such a very big move up after its strategy review in the fourth quarter of last year that it's actually been bumping along the top edge of its valuation range relative to the sector all year. It's been waiting for these earnings upgrades to come through, and now they will come and UBS will grow into its valuation. But there's probably more opportunity for catch up elsewhere in the sector, potentially at Deutsche.
New strategy for investment banking in the US. How long are we going to have to wait, and how critical is that?
I think I'm never a big fan of these huge restructurings in investment banking. Normally that only happens when you're absolutely flat on your back, and we know that was the case at UBS. They were on the canvas, and it basically means exiting businesses. If there's any kind of pickup, then you miss out. And there's no doubt that UBS is going to be a second-tier player in investment banking as we look forward. So I wouldn't pin too much hope on that. It's making the best of a bad job. How are we going to downsize and still try and stay relevant is basically the byline of that new strategy.
All right. On Deutsche and staying with the US, do you think this new capital is enough to meet the needs of this undercapitalized, underleveraged US operation for Deutsche?
Yes, well, there'll always be the cynical response that having placed just under 10% of the shares and therefore been able to do a placing rather than a rights issue, Deutsche has raised what it can and not necessarily what it needs. And although it's claiming to be as strong as its peer group, in fact, amongst the strongest members of its peer group, it will always compare unfavourably with the Swiss banks. I think what is significant in today's release is the fact that they're also saying we may produce some subordinated capital later in the year. So they're comforting the German authorities that if they have to move this equity into New York, there will be some more capital follow-up behind sitting in Germany, protecting German depositors.